Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about alcohol advertising restrictions in Ireland. So, back in 2018, the Irish government brought into place quite a comprehensive set of regulations, both around the pricing of alcohol, so things like minimum unit pricing, the display of alcohol, where you see it in shops, but also on advertising as well. So, the restrictions that we have here in Ireland, they're quite broad ranging. So they include things like that on outdoor advertising. You can't advertise within 200 meters of youth orientated facilities. You can't advertise on the field of play in sports, and nor can you advertise on public transport. There's also restrictions on advertising in shops. So, for example, alcohol can only be sold in designated parts of the shop, and that also includes that it can only be advertised in those parts, and that's behind a kind of a small barrier, about 1.6 meters. On top of those regulations, there's also a broadcast watershed. So alcohol ads shouldn't be shown on TV before 9 p.m. And there are some restrictions as well on radio advertisements. Again, trying to bring that to trying to reduce the amount of advertising that young people would see. There's also another quite comprehensive set of restrictions that haven't yet actually been fully implemented, and that's actually about the content of alcohol advertisements. So this is designed to kind of strip out the myths that we would normally see in alcohol ads that would essentially tell you that alcohol is essential to everyday items. So instead, alcohol ads will have to be purely factual, just giving you things like where it was made, how much it is, where you can buy it. And it will also have to include some factual information about risks from alcohol. And that's actually designed to work in tandem with our labelling regulations. So it would have to include some basic information such as alcohol causes cancer, the link between alcohol and liver disease, warning but not drinking in pregnancy. So as you can see, it's a part of legislation that's designed to work together. There's another element of the legislation which is there about addressing alcohol sports sponsorship. Now, I have to tell you that what was originally proposed was that there would be a complete ban on alcohol sports sponsorship, but that got knocked on the head with a massive amount of lobbying against it. And what it was replaced by was to say that alcohol couldn't be used to sponsor children's activities or indeed any motor racing, motor activities. So that's the kind of the picture of the legislation that we have. That's what the question really is it effective? Is it useful? Is there things that we could learn from it? Is there things that could be done better? Well, since 2018, if we were to use that as a benchmark for where we are in terms of alcohol consumption, since those various measures come in, and they also included things like minimum unit pricing, we have seen alcohol consumption drop by 15%. So that's very definitely a positive. Hard to know how much is attributable to any one section of that legislation, but certainly taken as a whole, I think we can say that there has been effects from that. Is there things that could be done better? Well, we certainly think that enforcing partial bans is difficult because it's always going to be open to interpretation of what exactly you mean by a particular ad. Certainly one issue that we would see with the restrictions on alcohol advertising is that in those areas, those times, those spaces, those places where alcohol ads are restricted, we now see a proliferation of zero alcohol product marketing. And this is marketing that is using identical branding to the master brand. And it is very clear that these ads are a means of getting around that restriction. So just to give you a little bit of context, the zero alcohol products make up about 1% of Ireland's total alcohol market. And yet, for example, in that outdoor space where I was talking about the restrictions there, these zero alcohol products make up 25% of the brand spend. So that'll give you a sense of just that saturation that's going in and how much of it we would say is actually to do with advertising the brand as opposed to just advertising a zero alcohol product. So that's certainly one thing that we would say, really needs to be looked at. I would also sort of say that it's difficult to enforce partial bans. And if Scotland is looking at this comprehensively, I think it would be well worthwhile considering total bans. So again, going back to the idea of the sports sponsorship, we see in our restrictions, for example, you're not supposed to advertise on the field of play. Well, we already see zero alcohol products being marketed there. But when you also look at the daytime restrictions, so you're not supposed to see alcohol advertising on TV, and yet when you see a big match being played, whether it's like something like the Guinness Six Nations, these are very frequently shown during that broadcast watershed. So you're seeing at prime time, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're seeing a massive amount of alcohol advertising. So again, I would go back to the idea of the need for complete bans on alcohol sports marketing and indeed complete bans on alcohol advertising in those particular areas. I hope that's something that is maybe of use as Scotland considers what to do next. Here in Ireland, we have certainly learned from the Scottish experience in the introduction of MEP, and we've been very grateful, to the work that has been done there, both in the bringing it in the first place, but also the detailed work on evaluating it. So we certainly hope that our experience here in Ireland can be of use to those who are drawing up new approaches for a public health approach to alcohol advertising. Thank you.